All right, good morning everybody. So I made it back to the off-grid property. Dogs are chilling out, watching me work. They got breakfast, we went for a run. I got some water. Got the trailer back here. I'm going to start unloading. Backhoe, I got some cattle panels, some T-posts, some roofing. So that's all going to be part of the dog kennel. Now what I'm thinking, I just got done moving some of my attachments down here, so this be kind of maybe a little bit more hidden too, because I did have them up here a little closer to the, I guess, frontage road, but either here or there. I'm thinking the dog kennel is going to go right here, so I may need to get my bucket on and do some smoothing out. Of course there's a lot of rock in there, but that's okay. My Belgian Malinois loves to dig, so hence the cattle panel. I always put that on the bottom, on the floor of the dog kennel, so they can't dig through. But she also needs a roof, so I'll put one above her because she is a great climber. Alright, so I guess the first step here is to dig out the dog kennel. Previous owners, they left us a nice little honey pot over here. Three deer stands, one of these octagon ones. Pretty cool. That thing can hold up to 500 pounds, so I'm thinking I'm going to put an icy tote on top, and that'll be our water tower. And then over there, I don't know if you're picking up on camera, already installed one of the deer stands. Alright, so I'll set you up. I got to get back in there. Those are the dog, I guess the panels to the dog kennel. And then we'll get everything moved over to the actual location. Alright, I forgot to hit record again, but it was just a bunch of grading, nothing too exciting. So I kind of got the pad all graded out, and what I'm going to do is 12 feet in, 18 feet across, essentially a rectangle, 12 by 18. And I think I'm going to have the door on this end here. Haven't quite decided that yet, but I'm going to start laying things out. It's real windy today, so hopefully I can get these to cooperate a little bit. But I did bring some T-posts. If I have to, I'll use them. So yeah, that's the next step. Just start laying it out. Alright, good morning. Another beautiful day here on the off-grid property. I didn't really film everything. I just kind of got to work and I forgot. But I did get the dog kennels all done. You can see we're going to kind of split it in half. I don't have another door, so I'm just going to kind of use that piece that's kind of wedged in there. That's kind of a swivel door. They do need kind of their own space. They get along for the most part, but Ivan's old and I want him to have his own space. So in addition to that, I went ahead and started to kind of make a fire pit over here. I got these small rocks here just so I could get in and out with the skid loader, because I saw some brush piles that I'm going to bring over. So that was just kind of temporary, but what I'd really like to do, I got plenty of these bigger rocks, so I'm going to surround it with these bigger rocks here, like you see. You can have a small fire and then sit on the inside of those rocks, or you can fill that puppy up and have a huge bonfire and just sit on the outside in some chairs or something. So that's my thinking there. Still a work in progress. Now today, I'm going to do a little maintenance on the Bobcat here. I'm going to check some fluids, I'll probably change the motor or the engine oil, and maybe the hydraulic oil, check the air filter, and just see how everything looks. Yeah, so I'll get you set up and bring you along with that. All right. So I'm going to check a couple things. I let her run for a while so she warmed up. This has been the first service I ever had to do on this machine. Almost feel like I should light some candles or something. Now let's get it taken care of. Should be pretty simple. Everything is at my disposal here. So we got the hydraulic filter here, oil filter, and fuel filter. It really can't get any easy. It's kind of why I went with this machine too. Now to drain the oil, you simply pull out the drain plug. You get that going. I have a owner's manual for this, but I don't have a service manual yet. I definitely want to get one for when and if that time comes where I got to make some repairs. But like I said, I had just kind of looked this over, and this drains the oil. I was able to identify the filters real easily. Now, to drain the hydraulic fluid, I haven't figured that quite out yet, but these old Bobcats are nice. They're easy to work on. They're pretty robust. They'll do most jobs. And back in the day, they cared, it seems like, you know. Just for example, here, you take this off, and it's got a little oil catch, so it just kind of drips out into your pan. And it just happens to line up with the oil drain, too. I don't know. I just appreciate that kind of engineering. Just keep it simple. I don't know. That could just be me. Now I did get a kit here. Let's see what's in the kit. Chinesium. But got real good reviews. I talked to a couple guys and they get these kits all the time. So we'll inspect them. Should just be a filter kit. Okay, so there's the air filter. Both elements are in there. Oh, that's interesting. It's got like a plastic or vinyl cover. Not used to that. Now that one is what I'm used to, that expanded metal type of stuff, so I'm sure it'll be fine. Alright. This looks like the fuel filter, so that'll go right there. And I'll look at this stuff closer when I go to actually install it. And this oil filter, I'm guessing. Yep, that's why I got to separate you two. You don't know how to be nice, Nelly. He's an old man. Oh yeah, oil filter. And now the previous owner, he went all out. He got all Bobcat filters. And that's fine. You pay 3 times as much. All looks good. And honestly, unless it actually said it was made in the USA or Germany or Japan, or not Japan, yeah, even Japan or England, then okay, it might be worth it. But I'm convinced that all this crap's made in the same Chinese freaking warehouse. They just slap different names on it. Over the years, you just kind of get to notice that this looks just like the Bobcat, or this looks just like the Harley Davidson, or this looks just like the Mopar. Now, whether or not they perform the same, I don't know. That's, yes, everybody's different. For the most part, I've put probably all the hours I'm going to put on it this year, for sure. I mean, it's already December 22nd. And we'll see how our kind of our plan unfolds going into next year. Because then I might be using that backhoe to do some footings and stuff like that. But we'll see how that goes. Alright, we need some big wrenches. So yeah, I'm just doing this out in the open. Like I said, off-grid property. I have no garage here, and this isn't a complicated service, so it's definitely a 22 for the plug. Yeah, so the hose itself is that big. Just let that drain. Of course, that's gonna fight me, and I don't think I brought up. I got an oil or a filter wrench. Man, people, all you do with oil filters, and this was done at Bobcat. And maybe my hands are weak today. I don't know, but usually I have pretty strong hands. But they have O-ring on them. You tighten them until that just, just touches, and then half a turn. That's it. So that thing was on there so tight. I tried a bungee and a wrench. Didn't budge it, so I had to resort to the old puncture with the screwdriver trick, and it's still really tight. There. I mean, I think I bent my screwdriver. I didn't grab a skinny one. God dang it. Yeah, that's totally bent. Way too tight. Well, once you bend the screwdriver, it never goes back straight. I think this holds like 6 quarts. So I already, I capped it off once and filled up like a gallon or so. So just let that keep coming out. So I'm looking at the difference of these filters and just trying to notice if there is a difference. I mean, besides this one feeling a little heavier because it's soaked in oil. There's like a spring down that one. There's no spring. This one just looks like it bottoms out on the oil pump tube. So, yeah, that's a little different. Okay, I forgot to hit record again, but got the fuel filter or the oil filter on, dated with the hours on there. Now I'm going to attempt to take this off, just to replace this hydraulic filter. I'm sure it's going to be just as tight as that was, so we'll see. Oh, God. Whew. Sometimes that trick works. Screwdriver method again. God, dang. Oh my gosh. Well, screwdriver method is not working here, people. I don't like that. I did the trick, but good grief. Still bent that. Talk about how not to put oil filter on. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Bobcat next time. I don't know if you can see down in there, but there's like the sealant, the inner housing. I don't know. It doesn't look right. Now, if I have any leak coming from these filters, I'll be surprised. Then maybe I'll give it a quarter turn. So I know it calls for a variety of different engine oils, so it just depends on what temperature you're going to be running it in. Just so happens that I use this Rotella T6 for my truck, and it's 1540 for diesel engine. So I had some extra, and this falls within the specs, so perfect. It's a little expensive, but I think I can probably go a little longer too. I go at least 10,000 miles on my truck, unless I'm heavy towing or something, heavy hauling. And I like to get every last drop of that out. Of course, the wind picked up a little bit. Hasn't been here all morning, so I gotta plug in my solar panels. Okay, well, I guess I got all the drops, all the drips I'm gonna get out of that, and I'll put my waste oil right back in there. So here's a song recommendation for you. 'Tis the Season. Check out 364 Days by the Murder City Devils. It's a pretty good Christmas song. Christmas can be the best time of the year. It can also be the worst time. Just depends on your situation. And the song does a really good job of speaking to that. Pretty easy service. I mean, if these filters wouldn't have been on good and tight, would have been even easier, but we got it. Just like to wipe everything up. Hydraulic oil can be corrosive quite a bit, but this actually just takes 10W30 motor oil. So still, I don't want, all the dust attracts to oil and grease real bad, so it didn't get so dirty. So I have to clean everything up the best I can. I learned a couple things. I mean, I'm a firm believer if you do stuff and you don't learn from it, then you need to just quit doing that stuff. So, like I said, this is my first service with this machine, and I'm probably never going to sell this. So I want to keep, I want to take care of it the best I can and make it last. I don't want to have to do any major repairs, but if I have to, I have to. And I'll definitely learn as I go. All right, let's check this level now. Oh yeah, right in the middle. All right, so this machine, real easy to get to with the fluids. There's your diesel, and up here is your hydraulic fluid. The dipstick's right there, or in this case, your 10W30. So I got some of that. Yeah, there's a nice little screen in here too that you can pop out, kind of inspect. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but it's nice and clean. But she's really low. So let's go to the shop, or shed I should say. Show you what I'm using for, I guess, hydraulic fluid. Alright, I'm going to use this mobile high mileage 1040, I guess it is. The temperature could matter based on what weight you go with. And I did look at the specs, and that's why I bought this 10W40. So I'm going to put a little bit on that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've probably put a couple quarts in here. So let's see where we stand. Okay, right in the middle, but pretty big filter on that, so I think I'll go ahead and I'll let this all drain down in there. Get it started, fill up that filter and check it again, obviously. So it's kind of a weird sound, but I'm thinking it was just doing that because the fluids were low, and then as soon as they kind of circulated, it went away. So at least that's what I'm hoping. And if you can see this, it's kind of a reddish dipstick. There's 2 arrows. There's a range right in here. Yep, pretty low. So it's right at the bottom arrow. Like I said, that's a pretty big oil filter, so not surprised. Alright, let's check the oil. It's a much smaller oil filter, but I suspect it'll still be low. Yeah, so it's not even to the first hash mark there, and the second one there. So regardless, we need to add some oil. I'll just end up adding everything I got. Like I said, it takes around 6 quarts. Not sure what that is in non-freedom units. Liters, is that what they call them? Well, let that drip. Let's go check that hydraulic fluid now. Should be good. Actually, we could use a little bit more. Not much though. The strainer in there makes it, I guess, drain from the filter kind of slowly. And it's doing its job. Yep, we're good there. I'm gonna add just a touch more of this. While that's draining down, let's check this air filter. See if it needs to be changed. Looks good. I'm not about to put a new filter in there yet. Just because I have it. I mean, I need to use it. The dust here can get pretty bad, so I'm expecting it to be dirty. It was changed over about 110 hours ago. Pretty dusty. We'll change it. And I know. Let's check the inner element, which is always a pain. Got 2 miles of threads here. Yeah, we gotta get this done. It's starting to warm up. I like wearing these coveralls when I'm working on machinery. But man, they are warm. And it's probably already like upper 50s. Sweat. Oh, look at that. That's the same one. So, this is a Bobcat too. I mean, yeah. Well, that's good. Maybe the sealant could be a little better, but we'll just replace them both. So this is pretty much universal. When you go to change these, I've noticed this on my excavator and tractor too. There's a bunch of wing nuts, right? There should be 3 if you have an inner element and an outer. Now, I've done this before, but when you go to put these elements back in, you use the wing nuts that are plastic and they have a rubber washer on it. Then, when you put the final cap on, this metal, we use the wing nut with the metal washer, so metal goes to metal. Just, I know it's probably common sense, but just kind of keep that in mind. I've done the opposite several times, and I know better. It's just like, what the heck? So usually I'd blow that out, but it was real clean, and I don't have a compressor anyway, so thankfully it was nice and clean. Metal. And oh yeah, perfect. Now I always remember to check the air filter or change it when I change all the other filters, so I don't write nothing on them. Your mileage may vary. You do what you got to do. All right, that wraps up this service. Now I'm just going to go around and grease everything. All right, so another trip to the off-grid property is over, unfortunately. It is a little warm and humid today, so I think it's a perfect time to head back north. But, it was a productive and relaxing time when I was here. And then we had to go further south to see some family. That was enjoyable. It was nice seeing everybody. So the dogs did well. They both had their own side of the kennel and got them the automatic feeders. Had 5 gallons of water. Seemed pretty happy. So, and I did the service on my skid loader, so got that knocked out. Might be back next month, and just enjoy another weekend. So for those of you still watching, I appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.